Oh, good evening, boys.
Switched it round.
Incredible. Welcome to the podcast. This is the first episode
Of?
Good evening, boys. I said it again.
I hate it. We're going to have to change the name.
No, we won't change it. We're here now. And by we, I mean...
Where are you going with this?
Who are you?
This is like the fifth take.
Yeah, it's fine though.
You should know my name by now. It's David.
So that's
yours.
David. I'm Niall.
Neil. No.
Niall.
Good evening, boys.
Oh,
Bethan's already laughing. It's an excellent start. This is exactly how I prepared.
I don't know. I feel like now that I hear the title, I don't know.
I feel no. It's bad, but it'll stay.
No, it's not bad. I like it. It's just hearing it like as the intro. It's so forced. Anyway,
it's the first one. Everything's going to be forced.
Oh yeah, it's going to be awful.
But we'll get through
Imagine this like.
Imagine
2 years' time, just going. Oh no, what is this?
Imagine having to edit our first podcast.
Oh no! Imagine editing all of this out. Imagine having to edit, please, all of this out.
Don't worry, Bethan. I've got an idea. Good evening, boys.
Don't say it again.
We should probably say what this is.
It's nothing.
We saw a gap in the market for two white guys talking about pop culture.
As the Taliban take over the capital. Millions flee.
We decided.
We thought the cry for two mid-20s white straight men.
It's a voice that hasn't been heard on the radio before.
Never. And this bit is completely original as well. And the self-awareness and the meta of like acknowledging that this bit has also been done has been done. It's that bad. It's an early thing. I'm Niall. There you go.
That's what you were after.
That's the content you were after. First name basis at the minute. That's okay.
The audience was waiting on tenterhooks. Who are these boys?
Yeah, well, I can't give it all away first time round.
I'm David Tiberius Roughton. It's a family name. I've always wanted to be called Tiberius and something. Nothing. Didn't even watch Star Trek.
We play D&D often.
Yeah, no one asks my middle name. That's an issue that's with the group, not myself.
David, I don't care that much when we play D&D at the best of times. I'm not going to invest in a middle name basis.
It's just rude.
I'm just in it for the giggles.
I've built a full universe now.
I care little for it.
There's an exchange rate in every town. No one's asked.
Because I'm struggling with crypto at the minute in real life. I barely understand it.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh my god, I love it.
Was that
we've got the giggles out.
Was that the cold open?
Yeah, that was the cold open. That was the chaos.
Okay, roll the theme music.
Hi, this is Niall from like 4 weeks in the future. We didn't end up getting around to recording a theme tune, so I thought I'd read you the first thing I'd looked at, and that was Spyro Enter the Dragonflies paragraph on the back. Dragonflies missing, fire breath stolen. It seems Ripto is back with an evil plan, and everyone's favourite dragon is on a mission to stop him. Featuring tricky puzzles, dazzling levels, and all new breath weapons, this is definitely Spyro's hottest adventure ever. So, I took subscribe to the Patreon from that. Enjoy the episode.
You're wearing a dead woman's jumper. Let's
Allegedly.
talk about that. No. No, we're talking about this.
It's not a dead woman's jumper. It's a dead woman's fleece. We should be very respectful for those listening. It's a lovely fleece, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like
I didn't pry it from specifically. It was a clearance job. Yeah. I didn't specifically go out and murder a woman to steal said.
David, as a day job, steals, breaks and enters. He's basically a burglar. He's a thief. He's a silver tongue devil. He breaks into people. old people's houses and he steals their belongings. Allegedly. So,
Finger quotes. Can't wait for my boss to listen to this.
He's always going to listen to this.
Probably not.
Yeah. He doesn't
Maybe
care
one
that
day,
much.
when we're rich and famous, and they go, how did this all start?
Yeah.
When one of us has been replaced by someone and it's really awkward and you've got to look back. It's like when they changed, what's his name, in Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
Brody.
I'm here. Deal with it. A subtle nod to the audience of like, we changed this black man for a noticeably darker black man.
The fact that they got away with that and that so few people realised.
No, like everybody realised, but it was never an issue. Like, I feel like if it was done with a bigger, oh god, here we go, a bigger African American actor, it would have been an issue. But because it was,
You really talked yourself into a corner
is
here.
it Martin Lawrence?
Is it Martin Lawrence?
Bethan.
Or computer?
By the way, Bethan's here. She Googles, so one of us doesn't have to sit here quietly.
so
Google.
this podcast isn't 40 minutes of going, no, he was in...
No.
Yeah, yes.
No.
Terrence Howard. Terrence is the guy's name.
It's crazy.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy.
That's him.
Then they switched it out for the other guy.
Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah.
He was in...
Don.
Don
Perignon.
Cheadle.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle?
That's
Yeah.
him.
Cheadle. And then they just swapped him out, and Iron Man 2 and was like, I'm here, deal with this. Incredible. And then you saw Mickey Rourke jumping around, skipping around on an F1 track.
That was a weird moment.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was a cool scene to watch, but at the same time, I remember, like, he had basically won, and he was like, haha, but later. And then just pieced out. It's like, I'm gonna kill you, but not yet.
Not yet.
I'm not ready.
I'll use my prototype. I'll cause some chaos. Everyone's gonna explode apart from Robert Downey Jr.'s card, who he just turned up that day.
Yep. Imagine what a different movie it would be if you had just killed him then. He was like, that was a prototype. Oh my god.
Yeah, like as far as his plan didn't work out. He got on the F1 track. He burnt off his top. I love this movie. Iron Man 2 is a very shit movie, but I do love it.
Awful. And the thing. I'm just imagining the Avengers, and there was like, we had plans for this guy called Tony Stark, but he jumped in an F1 car and got cut in half. Steve Rogers being like, what an idiot.
Yeah. Imagine none of the events of Civil War happened because there's just live footage of Mickey Rourke making Tony Stark red porridge and skipping around with his whips.
Oh, maybe that's maybe an extended universe I'd like to see. Who would take over? I reckon Happy. Happy was like,
well,
I'm gonna
like
take over from...
Tom Holland is like Little Iron Man now. That's what they're going for. And it's pretty shit and really forced, and nobody asked for it.
I think Tom did. Yeah, but 3 didn't deliver on many. Across the board, 3 was pretty shocking.
Yeah. I mean, it would.
Remember when Pepper Potts did that really cool thing where suddenly she knew jujitsu out of nowhere because she got set on fire?
Remember the guy with the glowing tattoo?
No, that film's garbage. What you got there?
Hey, what's this on my desk?
Hey, Poochie, you look like you have something to say.
Well, the thing I've got to say is a list of ideas that I wrote down earlier in case we run out of things to talk about. Already, which one are you fancying? Because I've got three suitable ones.
You're assuming that I can read, sir.
Things in movies and shows that annoy you.
What's...
Your stance on the pop vinyls. Or best console generation.
We'll start at the beginning, right?
Start at the beginning.
Be a good place to start.
Me or you? Because I've got one lined up that we've talked about earlier. Off mic.
Don't read the secrets.
No. Surprisingly,
This is unscripted.
No, this is all scripted. Even the really awful, cringy stuff that we're going to look back at it later in life.
Can't believe I wrote that down.
Oh my god, David, why would you write this?
I'd say you start. No,
I'll start.
jump
Okay.
in.
First one is lazy sound design. Oh
Ooh.
boy, a classic. I give it its due to older movies, 90s movies, particularly, because they just
Those are played on pianos mostly.
they just didn't know.
It was
It was so sad. They just didn't know.
fully dependent on the pianists.
You know, Jim Carrey was doing his things. He was doing his awoogas and
Oh Christ!
his many
A different time.
Yeah, his many sad moments with the whap whaps.
Oh yeah.
But they just didn't have the library of sound effects. However, if it's now the Lord's year of 2021, and you're using Rusty Gate Sound Effect 1,
yeah.
just the classic creak,
Mm-hmm.
you've got no
Creaky door.
excuse. Yeah, creaky door.
Creaky door.
If you're just doing that,
Okay.
it's shit.
I-
It must take nothing. It must take nothing to hire a sound effects studio and just be like, just move some rust about. Just get out.
Get the Foley out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in It 2 or the first one where they opened a gate and it was like
The exact gate.
Scooby Doo.
Mm.
Like, what? It's just immediately taken me out of the movie. That's crazy. Like hearing the Wilhelm screams, as I said earlier.
Oh.
Somehow Star Wars gets away with it because they do it that often.
Yeah.
But any other movie,
It's like
if
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings has one.
everything. If I hear a Wilhelm scream, it's like I know it's typical to say, "Oh, Wilhelm scream," but like it takes you out of the movie so much.
It's an in-joke that's gone too far at this point.
Yeah.
I have a similar thing. I agree with sort of like lazy sound design, but there's a thing that started like maybe 10 years ago where people were like, what if we just mic up everything that someone does in a film? So it's as if you're in the bag of crisps that this protagonist is trying to eat. You know what I mean? Where they're like, we've hired the Foley guys and we've said this guy is cutting a chicken. So they're like, okay, right, I'm just going to get mentally prepared for this. And they buy 4 chickens. And then they like put mics in the chicken. So
Wait, what year were you talking about it, maybe?
When would it have started? It was around about the time of like when Kick-Ass came out. And people stopped doing blurry motion in action shots. A similar time of being like, right, we're going to get sound design real well,
Right.
which just meant miking everything to like the 9th degree, and really triggers my hatred of ASMR, where like someone's in a film, someone's come home from a long day, and they're like, so tired. They don't say that, but you get it from the cues of the film, you see. But
You get how they've thrown their bag down.
they've undone the tie.
Oh, and they've let their hair down a little
course.
bit, take their glasses off, and
They're
taken
holding
off one shoe and
the mug of
thrown-
coffee with 2 hands.
Oh yeah.
They're wearing a jumper, not a dead lady. But before they're holding the mug of coffee, they like pour the coffee in, and you can hear every like
like
Oh.
the glug of the
Stop
coffee
that.
as it goes in.
disgusting.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Like for me, it was always similar in a sense, but you know, like old spaghetti westerns
Oh yeah.
or just anything with was it Johnny Cash,
Okay.
where it was early sound
Mhm.
and everything could be heard when they were doing their pretend fight.
Mhm.
Everything in their pretend fight could be the ruffle of the coats, everyone stomping around, people just yelling indiscriminate things at the top of their voices because nobody could act. Everyone just shouted, and that was acting at the time. Genuinely, if you watch a movie from that time period, nobody talks. Nobody talks.
They were mute back then. It was a simpler time.
Yeah, everybody was just shouting things at each other. If it was a passionate moment, there was no love conveyed. It's always just somebody going, "I'm with you, doll face," just screaming it at them, like at their face. But that was passion, and it was nuts. Then you got fucking.
That was definitely a scene from Bugsy Malone. You've just
And you got Pepper Potts in Iron Man 3 falling off a
Oh,
bridge.
for God's sake!
Why not?
It always comes back to how terrible. That's a running theme of this podcast.
Yes. It's terrible. Didn't we see that at midnight? Terrible.
I remember watching it being like at the start, going, "Oh, so they're handling like a heavy-hitting subject of like terrorism and like repercussions of all the stuff that's happening."
Yeah,
like, oh, cool.
Tony Stark's got PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
He's remembering going to space and seeing the other side, and like he's having nightmares and flashbacks, and he's having a real bad time dealing with the nothingness of space. And then he just blows up all his suits in some non-treated PTSD moment at the end.
Oh, that was another. We're staying on this topic because holy hell, that's a terrible movie. Yeah. The thing that really upset me about that movie is Iron Man is his suit. I know it's the guy, it's Tony Stark, and he's a fantastic character. Mm-hmm. But he was Tony Stark, then he got the suit, and the suit helped him become Iron Man. And in Iron Man 1, he had one or two suits. He had the big one and the small one that he like worked on. And then in 2, he like got a few more suits. And then in 3, he just seemed to have hundreds of them that were all like new iterations that you would assume are better. But do you remember the scene where one gets hit by a truck and it smashes into a million pieces?
Yeah.
When the first one he ever made got shot by a tank and it was fine.
No, David, you fool. You fool. You've obviously not seen the Pinterest poster of all the Iron Man suits featured in Iron Man 3 with a specific... But Jeremy, could you pull that up, please? Jeremy.
Trebek.
What did you want to be your middle name?
Tiberius.
Could you pull up the listing of the Iron Man 3 suits, please? Because they've all got specific abilities. Like one of them I know.
Fantastic at pastry.
One of them I know has a better advantage for space travel.
It's space type.
It is. It's space type.
Got a water type.
Because he has PTSD. One is an aquatic one.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Is there a fire type?
Yes.
Yeah. There's here we go.
Artillery level suit. The enhanced energy suit. Disaster rescue suit. Heavy lifting suit. Eagle. Suborbital suit, which is Gemini.
The sexual harassment suit. That was in a later movie.
Hyper velocity suit. Skeleton suit. Actinium bones.
Because you're the one that gets hit by the truck.
Yeah.
That's its ability.
To get hit by trucks.
Yeah. It is a homing beacon for trucks.
It finds evil trucks and stops them.
That's a terror. That's bringing in non-illegals. Non-legals. Get it?
No, it's the truck that's bad. It's done crimes.
What's it done?
Truck stuff. I don't know. Didn't ask.
You're fucking grass.
I'm not grassing on that truck. That truck's has done war crime stuff with the truck. That truck was actually the brains behind Elon Musk this entire time.
Oh my god. Elon Musk, he's not a good guy. Just fucking stop worshipping, you fucking sheeple, you fucking idiots. The man is controlling a market. Jesus Christ. And he's like, ha ha ha, Daddy Elon. He's a fucking evil Stop it. Sorry, I'm going off on one. This is people are idiots.
Show now. Is this Joe Rogan?
Oh my god, this is therapy for me, David. Don't you know this? This is all I'm doing this for.
This is all staying in.
No, obviously. I want to listen back and go, I was definitely working through some shit back then. Yeah, don't listen to Elon Musk. He's a fucking idiot who you're literally falling for exactly what he wants. He makes a tweet and everyone's like, oh, Daddy Elon, you fucking idiots.
Tesla is ruining the car market. We'll say that. Not the car market, sorry. Car culture. Because it's
Yeah.
beginning to thrive, and it's building a lot of mass of being like Teslas are the be all and end all.
They're not. They're a nice toy with a big battery.
They're
just
good
a car.
cars.
They're just a car with an iPad. Chill out.
Oh, I hate iPad. That's the thing. We need to talk about cars are going weird. I know we're all
Yeah.
over the place right now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll bookmark it, won't we? Tiberius.
I'll write it down in my book.
Write it down. Anyway, other things in movies I hate: aggressive editing.
Aggressive editing.
Yeah, you know. Oh, here
I'm
we go.
so confused.
Aggressive. So, if you've never noticed it before, you'll notice it now because I've said it.
I can't wait to watch a film after this.
Here we go. When there's too many cuts in between scenes.
Okay, I like it. Yeah.
So during a scene where there's just different angles constantly, you're like, pick one. Because this is another thing that is bringing me out of a movie. Because now I'm like, pick a shot. And if you're going to change up the shots a lot, make sure that those shots aren't reshoots where people have different wigs on. That's fucking nuts.
Wigs?
Yeah. What? Oh, damn it. Are you trying to tell me that the entire Marvel universe don't wear wigs?
Robert Downey Jr. as bald as they come. Also, can we talk about a minute for the fact that one of the coolest people on this planet is called Robert?
You mean Bob? Yeah?
Bob?
Yeah.
Bob Jr.?
Oh, yeah.
He's playing Tony Stark, you know.
Oh, he's so uncool. He definitely seems like he was cool in Iron Man 1 when his life got pretty much turned around.
Yeah.
By Civil War. He'd been Ellened. There was a touch of Ellen to him.
Okay.
Ellen, the popular talk show host. Jimmy Fallon friendly. Yes, he'd appear on a late night talk show.
Yes.
Be a little bit risky, but enough to make Dad laugh.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, He'd be on Facebook. Ha ha ha, look at what Robert said. Isn't he funny?
Facebook comedy.
Oh, you mean the land of Graham Norton? Oh.
Hey, I'll have no words said about Graham Norton on this podcast.
I will say many things against Graham Norton.
Love the man.
Graham Norton has been doing the same act, I think, for 15 years.
Graham, if you're listening to this, keep up the same act. I love it. Also, there's a spot going on the Graham Norton show. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it, but I'll insult him to his face.
You can't do that to him. His little beardy face.
If like in like a year's time, if we carry on this, what I'm hoping we do, and we get the call out to go on Graham Norton, you know, by some chance, some YouTube's doing some push shit,
Okay.
and we go on it, and this gets picked back, like somebody's clipped it, be like, oh yeah. And Graham Norton gets it because he does, and he plays these funny little clips. Ha ha ha, Graham. Ha. You peaked in Father Ted.
Whoa.
Yes.
So did many people. You can't hold that against him.
So did Dougal.
My Hero was alright. Exactly, no one watched it.
What? You're a liar, David.
Can you imagine us going on Graham Norton show?
Oh my god.
Can you imagine the audience being like, who the hell are these?
Who are these two people sat next to
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Who else have we insulted?
Any sound design?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Where the hell were we? We were talking about Graham Norton. What was before Graham Norton?
So,
talking about movies and shows.
Movies and shows,
yeah.
and also Facebook comedy, and then a bookmark to come back to cars.
Where did we go before Facebook
I'll talk
comedy?
about Facebook comedy.
I'll talk about Facebook comedy.
Incredible. I genuinely love it. It's the best. It's the best thing to happen because it keeps stupid people busy.
No.
Yes, it keeps them occupied, and it almost makes me. No, it definitely. Not almost. Okay, who am I kidding myself? An elitist of comedy.
Okay.
Genuinely, like if somebody tells me something, like I saw this funny thing on Facebook. There's like a little spark of joy in the back of my head where I'm like, this is going to be shit.
I already know I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to watch 3 minutes of it.
It's not going to be funny. I'm not even going to smile. I'm not even going to I don't want to. I don't want. You've wasted my life. But I'll go, yeah, that was good.
That was alright.
Was that alright?
Do you want to watch the second one?
No. Oh, it's by this really funny. I don't care.
Bet it's not.
I don't care.
Do you know what? That's really just shone an image back into my mind that I thought was buried away where I left it. But do you remember like a long few Christmases ago where everyone had that filter on the phone where it was the elves dancing and they just put faces on the elves? And people thought it was the best thing known to like. Before then, we had been playing with sticks and fire, and then suddenly a face filter that could be put on Facebook where your man could see it. Hilarious.
Before this, we were in the primordial ooze. Now, society grows. Everyone was like, aren't I just nuts and crazy? Aren't me faces doing a silly little dance? No, Karen. Or Jeanette, or whatever you want to be called. I don't care.
I'm gonna say this now. If at any point, because I thought it was terrible at the time, back in the day, dear listener, if you're listening,
Viewer.
if you showed me a video of that and I laughed, I apologise because it was not real. I'm talking to you, Lee. When you showed us the band one, and it was like, "Look, David, you're dancing." I was like, "Haha." Anyway, we're at rehearsal and we're paying for it, so...
Oh no! Anyway.
Yeah, Facebook comedy is really... It's not as bad as, like, old Instagram comedy. Because that was toxic as hell.
Yeah, like Instagram, Vine... I'm pretty sure TikTok's probably going that way. I try to stay away from... I'm that guy.
TikTok is like vast enough for it to sometimes still be funny.
If it's funny enough, it makes its way to Instagram. Iron Man 3.
Every week we're gonna pick a scene of Iron Man because there's many that are bad.
So that means that in maybe some of the following weeks we should watch Iron Man 3 and immediately do the podcast afterwards.
Yep.
So it's fresh in our minds, and we just tear it apart.
Love it.
Or I'm going to cut you off, David, because I don't care.
Love it.
I do.
No, but I might do.
Oh.
No, I don't.
Maybe one day. We do a live commentary.
Oh, like Auntie Donna watching the Big Ol' House of Fun on Facebook.
Yes.
Do
a live, just sit, we'll pause it, talk about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should then...
Show.
Yeah. I reckon there's many
50th episode.
There's many third movies in a series that are terrible that we could do this with.
Yes,
there's
Matrix
Iron
3.
Man, Matrix, and
Alien.
Spider-Man. Now
Spider-Man.
dig on this. Remember that scene?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Remember...
being a paid actor and being like, I performed in, what was it? The Green Mile? Tobey Maguire? Some very good film. And then the writers handed you the script and it says, now dig on this.
Do you remember when James Franco rose up on his surfboard and was like, I'm the new Goblin?
Oh.
Was it the new Goblin?
What you Goblin, Franco? What's that?
He just popped up with his ski mask and was like, I'm the bad guy now.
And then there's me. James, I mean...
Do you remember when Eddie Brock wasn't hench whatsoever?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I'll say the word hench. Venom has to be hench.
Venom is a brute. That's his character.
He has to be a big boy.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a big boy.
He wasn't. That film...
It wasn't at all.
They really tried to throw as many things into that film as they possibly could, and none of them stuck.
Yeah, why add in the final movie of the trilogy 3 characters with only really one of them, like 3 villains, sorry, with only really one of them getting a decent backstory.
You're talking about, obviously, Sandman.
Sandman. The man of sand.
He is on the run, you see, and then he falls into a pit of sand,
Mm-hmm.
and some science happens.
Yes. But the sand comes back to make a green striped jumper.
Yes.
Dirty fool.
It's very lucky it wasn't a sewage treatment plant where the science was happening.
And he comes back as a man made of boo.
Would be a more interesting story. Because then he couldn't hide in the truck of sand. It would have to be manure everywhere when he could.
Oh my, yeah. His like own transport would have to be like a silo.
Yeah, but do you know how in every single sorry, do you know how in every single Back to the Future, Biff gets punched into some manure?
And one time,
and then just Manure Man was like a tip.
The one time, Biff gets punched into it, and he just his arms wrap around him and just bring him in. A friend.
Yeah, in the fourth unreleased Back to the Future, Pooh Man punches him into. It's how long has it been since you watched Back to the Future?
Oh.
Stick it on.
We'll watch it now.
We'll pause this.
Yeah, we'll pause this for a bit. It's fine.
Come back, talk about Iron Man 3 again.
Not even mentioned Back to the Future.
Beth and Tiberius Kirk is currently riding on a Fallout 4 notepad.
That used to be mine. That she thieved from me. And it used to be my old notepad when I worked at a Japanese car manufacturer.
Nissan.
No. Nissan.
Toyota.
It's time to do the fake ad spot.
Oh, you really sprung this on me here.
Pick a random brand.
Bacon. It's like Raycon.
Bacon.
Bacon.
We're doing an
We're sponsored by Bacon.
Just by
Bacon.
The meat product.
Have you heard of
bacon.
it?
Wait, smoked or unsmoked? I've heard of neither.
Cut this.
Don't cut this.
Well,
We're doing a
we can't cut it because we're sponsored by them. This is the issue.
Exactly. We won't get paid by bacon. Well, we say it really clearly, so they know where we mean well.
Well, it's not
Eat
just
bacon.
Anyway, back to the show.
Yeah, back to this.
The next point on the list was stand on pop finals? ? I don't actually stand on them.
No, because there's no point because they're very expensive for what they are. Which is in fact my stand on pop finals.
Expensive for what they are. I would actually. Oh, that was a voice crack. I would actually fully agree with that, good sir. I think I've got one, and I didn't choose to buy it. I think someone bought it for me for Christmas. It was Deadpool.
Is it? Oh, let me guess. Please let me guess. Was it a relative, slightly older, and goes, "Oh, our David. He loves
that
those,
Daredevil.
He loves those."
Who is that?
He likes that Spider-Man.
Get in the red one.
He's slightly nerdy, isn't he? He's a geeky boy. And I know that because my mum does the same thing. Mum, I'm sorry, but you buy me shit.
This was actually from my housemates in second year. But
even better.
Equally correct.
Because it's the same kind of shit that happens. Like, I find like Facebook humour and buying pop vinyls go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you're buying pop vinyls, have a word. Genuinely, you're paying so much money for
I can't imagine
lazy figures.
I can't imagine they're gonna like appreciate value.
No,
they might one day, but at the same time,
only the rare, like the rarer ones are definitely gonna.
My Deadpool one, probably gonna be worth nothing.
One in like 1 billion. There's a bit ridiculous amounts of that.
It's too. I don't understand how it's being able to push itself in the market so much when like so many other things are out there that are like specific to a genre. Like if you like any video game or film or series or book, there are so many things that you can get that are dedicated to exactly that thing you like. And then a company was like, right, what if we could do that, but they're all the same and we just change the paint? Like, it's wild. It's wild that that's
It's called the Fortnite effect. It's the same shit with a different skin. But
How dare you?
And I'm not using this word lightly. The normies. I know it's an awful cringy word.
We're weird to them.
I know.
Can you imagine?
They get a hold of this shit and surprisingly run it into the ground. It's the same. You know what? If pop vinyls weren't over like mass produced as they were, they'd probably be all right. They'd be a quirky little thing.
Yep.
But because they appeal to every market, so many people, so bad.
The same thing happened with Rick and Morty. Remember when Rick and Morty was quite interesting and funny, and now it's sort of like, hey, remember when we were a pickle?
Yeah.
Funny
joke, funny satire,
funny show.
Ha ha! And now Rick's in Fortnite, and the cycle completes itself. Yeah, pop vinyls.
I remember as a kid going into HMV and being like, God, this must be where all the cool kids hang out. I wonder what they do. They just sort of like stand. Nice. I can stand.
I'm gonna be really cool and niche and look for the Cage the Elephant album.
If I stand in the heavy metal aisle, that means people will know that I'm a cool kid.
Yeah, I listen to alternative music. Kind of not like you.
You wouldn't have heard of it. Have you heard of Lord? Thought not. That's something... Oh, okay. So a whole topic on its own is current radio. Because I hate radio. It's definitely me being up my own arse about music. And hating, like, just talk. What's it called? Like
Capital FM is what you're talking about.
Oh,
Capital
FM.
Heart, all the really shit mainstream British radio. It's what, like, you have to go. I swear by Radio X, because at least you're going to get a little bit of character from a radio DJ. In fairness, they play the same, same vibe Oasis songs over and over again every day. Well, at least it's Oasis.
That's true.
At least I've got a radio DJ who's not a drone, just pumping out the same ad, the same shit, celeb gossip, which is like Capital. Shut up. Stop talking about Little Mix, I don't care.
Oh.
Little Mix are going on tour, are they, with the biggest arena tape?
That's awesome.
Ever.
I missed the last one.
No
the one
way.
before that. I hope to miss this one. But I specifically don't like, and it is definitely me gatekeeping music, which is something I hate. Because it's like...
It's a terrible thing.
It's something we all do, and then we make fun of other people for doing it. But I remember listening to the radio and already being really annoyed because I was in a car and I was surrounded by other idiots in cars, which is already a bad start. But this song came on and I was like, oh my God, I know this song. This is a really good song. And I was like jamming to it, and then it finished and I was like, oh, it's Grandson. I remember Grandson. I remember where I was when I heard this song, and it was years ago. And then the guy was like, this is, what do they call it, where it's like they're introducing. It's like, this is a new band I've just found. They're just coming up now. And I remember listening and being like, I listened to that before I crashed my car. That was 3 years ago. You're really into this, are you?
Yeah, just just coming up. Just finding a spot now.
This is their debut. It didn't say debut, but it was like that thing of like their fresh new sound. They're just coming out. And I was like, I've got them on like 3 playlists. How is...
Yeah.
This is your job.
No, it's nice if you do find a DJ who's like still for it.
Graham Norton.
Yeah, Graham Norton on BBC Two. To be fair,
on a Saturday morning.
Any BBC DJ, I imagine, is in it for the love of DJing and not the paycheck. Can you imagine being Fern Cotton?
Is that it? Is that,
yeah, that's
I'd
the
love
statement.
It. Being Fern Cotton.
Fern Cotton.
Have a lovely time.
You were this alternative girl. You were doing Radio 1.
Mm-hmm. Loads of comedy bits.
Yeah, you were up there. You were riding high. Then time happened, and you got demoted to Radio 2.
Look at the ravages of time.
Yeah.
Radio 2. That's the ravage of time.
Yeah. Radio 2 happens to the best of us.
somewhere an ageless Hollywood movie is stood with a Dorian Gray poster of herself. I'll never see Radio 2.
No.
That's a really niche joke for anyone seen the painting of Dorian Gray. It is Dorian Gray, right?
Yeah, it is Dorian. It's in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as well. That amazing movie.
Oh, that was cracking.
That's something we're going to talk about. I haven't seen it in a few years, so I would like to re-watch it to really break that shit down.
Yeah.
Because I remember as a child loving that movie. Loving it. And then watching it again a few years later, after I'd switched on mentally. It'd be like, why is this so bad? What's going on? I'm so confused.
I remember I think I've seen that film more than 5 times. Mm-hmm. And every time,
it just somehow always came on.
It always came on.
In the early 2000s, it would just happen.
Like the first 3 times I watched it, I remember being like, oh, I must have missed the first hour of this where they explained the movie.
Yeah, and all of a sudden there's just Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde running about. You're like,
out and about.
What's happened? What's happened? What's going on? Why is Sean Connery being a sniper?
Why is he? Is that his special power?
It was just a good shot. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is going to be the segment for a little bit. This is going to be what we're talking about. Is not remembering League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's been a few years, so he was a good shot because he used a Winchester rifle.
Yep, that's how you know.
And then it was his grandson. Friend.
The long hair boy.
Yeah, who was also going to be a good shot.
Yes.
And I can't remember.
They're all forgettable.
This is the bit. This is the section. You can't remember the movie.
Remembering a film from our childhood.
Yes.
And trying to explain the plot.
Next, small soldiers. Toy soldiers.
Toy soldiers.
Toy soldiers.
Small, is it small soldiers?
One's
an Eminem song. Also excellent.
No. Here's a little thing. Eminem's never been excellent.
How very. He's only climbing higher, sir.
Right.
I did hate the Kamikaze album. I know, again, to the people out there that I listened to it with and said, this is great, I lied. It was pure crap.
Which one was that one?
That was the one where everyone was like, he's finally come up and done a full diss album, and he just takes piss out of loads of different artists. That was Kamikaze, right?
Genuinely, no idea. Because last I knew, Berserk came out.
Curtain Call was fresh in your mind.
Yeah. Because then there was the Curtain Call, and then there was the one. Was that the one before?
There was Curtain Call, but blue.
There's the one with just a picture of his face, but it looked like it was in granite.
Oh,
in stone.
Yes.
Which had all the Edgy Boy songs on.
Yeah.
I'm Not Afraid.
Oh, that hit me deep.
No, it didn't. That was the Eminem album that, during secondary school, everyone listened to.
Everyone had it.
And everyone was like, this is the deep shit. And I'm like, this is... Well, what's happened? This is shit.
Do you know... Was it... Oh,
Relapse.
Was it
Relapse? Yes, it was, because that had a few other songs on it that I used to listen to a lot. One of them, I'm trying to remember, you might have to bring this up, Mr. Tiberius.
Tiberius?
Do you remember Call of Duty Zombies?
I do.
Do you remember the Easter eggs where they would play music?
I do.
One of them was by the Cranberries, and it was on Derise.
It was, and one of them was Avenged Sevenfold.
One of them was Avenged Sevenfold. Wasn't one of them an Eminem song?
Might have been.
Or is this a Kazam?
A Kazam.
Shazam? Is this a Shazam Kazam situation?
The Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be.
It could be. There was Advanced Warfare, and at that point I was done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I put in some serious hours into Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, World at War, Black Ops 1. They were so good.
Guess
and then
what?
it was like,
I think
good
most
God.
Most people our age probably put in the same amount of graft into those codes. Because it was those were the ones.
Mm-hmm.
What's the new one? What is the remastered Code 4?
Yes, they did. Don't pay
attention to
so
anymore.
I jumped back in at the Modern Warfare reboot because I was like, okay, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'll play a little bit, and it was good. The campaign was basically just you playing a film, which is fine, but That's not what you really want to do, but yeah, we're here anyway. And like,
That's all of the Uncharted games.
I still haven't played the Uncharted.
They're so good.
I need to
mean,
buy a PlayStation.
It's not worth buying a PlayStation for. Don't
Well,
get us
there's
wrong.
God of War.
There is God of War.
There's also Demon Souls
And Bloodborne.
and Bloodborne.
Bloodborne's better than Demon Souls. Fight me.
I mean, I've
Fight me.
played neither. So I reckon there's a lot we can talk about for especially video games and especially Call of Duty. But there's this last bullet point we've got here that I'm intrigued by, and it says best console generation.
Oh, see, this is also age dependent, I would say.
100%.
It's completely biased.
Because we're old now.
Technically, yes.
And literally, yes.
No.
I've got a bad back. I've got
Um,
bad bones now.
everyone, I think we aren't evolved at all.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like,
Yeah.
do you remember sleeping on floors at parties and being like
No.
ready for school the next day?
Nope.
Nope. Well, yeah, but
No, I literally can't remember.
well, it happened,
bouncing back
and
that
this is what happens afterwards.
All goes
Got a
downhill.
bad spine. Anyway, console generations.
We're old and it's terrible, but we're definitely biased because my first really memorable console was definitely the PlayStation 2. I'm 24,
Yeah.
25 in 2 weeks.
Soon.
Soon, too soon. And you're...
26, too soon.
Yeah, that's fine. The PlayStation 2, definitely memorable single-player games like Grand Theft Auto. However, I am tainted by Xbox Live.
I mean, we're all tainted by it.
Yes.
We'll never be the same again.
No, ruined. I like vocabulary.
Oh,
wise. Oh,
like
I learned things. The N word. What?
Good lord! Imagine
Everyone.
learning that from Xbox Live.
I did. That's a load what a chode was.
That was a time. Like
Halo
now,
3 just dropping people just saying "fuck off, you little chode." And you're like, I'm in a warthog, man.
Excuse
Chill
me?
out.
people talk about new video games and like, oh, the lobbies are toxic. It's like, no.
No. Yeah.
You come on one game of shipment back in 2000 and however.
God.
Then you talk to me about toxic.
You want to talk about how people ruined a game within the first month was Uno 360.
What?
Uno on the 360, one of their selling points was if you hook up a webcam, you can play with strangers.
Oh my god, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right? They were so innocent, bless them. They were like, this will be fine.
Yeah, to be fair, I now understand that's terrible, but that's because I've been tainted by Xbox Live.
Exactly. This was early days. If people were like, "Oh, you'll get to see other people," like, "Oh, I'm getting mad at you because you've done a +2." No. People just got their dicks out. Surprising, I know.
And then it's now on the Ubisoft launcher, which is a fate worse than death.
It suffers and thrives there.
Does it?
But yeah, because everyone buys it, but nobody can play it.
I'm not hearing a lot of thrive.
They've got their money.
Okay,
They've got
that
your
makes
money,
sense.
yeah.
That does make sense.
We've all bought it.
Will bought it, couldn't play it.
Couldn't play it.
Oh, no.
Crashed his laptop many times. Right, we're going to talk about Ubisoft for a little bit and how shit they are at making existing board games. It's not hard, it's already there.
Are we really going to narrow it to just board games? Because they make some pretty shoddy equipment anyway.
Yeah. If we're talking about game developers doing shoddy work, I'm going to talk about Bethesda for a little bit and how they keep on getting away with this shit.
Yeah.
Why do we give Bethesda a pass? Just because they make a good, like
They made
addictive
two good games once.
Yeah,
that was
they
it.
did.
Been riding on Fallout New Vegas for however long.
They didn't even make
They
that
didn't
one.
even make that
It
one.
was Oblivion.
And Fallout 3.
No,
Skyrim. Of course, Skyrim.
Oblivion to an extent. No.
Yeah, actually. Okay. I think I'm definitely tainted by modern Bethesda, which is just a vampire.
They did make Doom.
Ooh, they did make Doom.
They did, but also, can you Oblivion, Bethesda made Fallout 3.
Mm.
And then Oblivion, the makers of 1 and 2, were like, we want to make it again, but using your engine. And they did it, and it was amazing.
Excellent.
It was so much better than 3.
If you have the chance, turn off this podcast. Anyway,
No.
Go and buy. No.
No.
I'm taking the wheel here now.
No.
Turn off this podcast. Listen to me first, then turn off this podcast. Go and buy Fallout New Vegas with all the packs. It's probably on sale as we speak.
Well, this is the thing, David. You put on the podcast while you're playing Fallout New Vegas because you'll be doing a lot of walking, and it's a lot of grey and brown.
No, you're right.
The palette isn't expansive, and you will get bored of walking.
That was the palette of the time, though. Do you remember? Was it? It was not called Rampage or Anarchy, but it might have Rage. The first Rage game. 1, hated it. 2, it had what's his name from? Oh Christ! I'm going to start again.
My God!
You know Cloverfield.
The first one.
No, the next one where they're in the bunker.
Cloverfield Lane.
Yes, with
John
Goodman. He's in it. He's a voice actor in it, and it's still awful. How did that happen?
John Goodman's also the voice of Santabot in Futurama.
Oh, that's excellent. I'm glad he did one good thing with his voice. No, I don't know. What else has he done?
Excuse you.
I'm just doing that
John
to annoy
Goodman.
you now.
He was in the Transformers movie, I'll have you know.
Was he?
Yeah, he's the... I think he's the one with Marky Mark. He's the one... yeah.
He's Sully.
He's also Sully in
He's
Monsters
also
Inc.
Sully.
But
Jeez.
more importantly, he was in
Excellent
Transformers. And his voice acting role was John Goodman in Transformers. This is the thing, Dave, if you've got a recognisable voice. You can just become a voice actor and just use your voice. John Benjamin. Why do the same voice for Archer and Bob in Bob's Burgers? You just... Jerry. Okay. Do the same voice in, was it Rick and Morty and Archer as well?
Archer.
What's his name? I'm doing it now.
You're doing a me, where you bring up an actor and can't remember his name and then spend time thinking about what the name is. Is it?
Do you remember when I said, should this podcast be about movies and TVs?
Oh, yeah.
And then we're doing this. It was like, what, that movie? Yeah, that one. Yeah, we're definitely clued up and should be doing a podcast about that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but like we started this exact conversation of like our last point is about the best console generation, and now we're talking about John Goodman.
Getting back to it then.
Oh yeah.
I think I've got a problem with it. What's the best console generation? I'm probably going to say the 360.
Okay, yeah.
For memories alone.
I got you. I see what you mean. It had a lot of good stuff. 360 had a huge back catalogue, and it was the time where like we were of the age where we wanted to play a lot of games. But so I started with PlayStation 1. I had a PlayStation 1 at my dad's house. Mm-hmm. It was excellent. I had Spyro and Medieval and Rayman. I bloomin' loved Rayman, except I didn't have a save for it.
Wait. Rayman?
Everybody loves Rayman.
That's it? Better. That's
correct.
Better.
Okay. My bad.
Anybody else I would have said that was a joke. But I just don't know with you sometimes.
It wasn't, but we'll move on. But that also had something that I loved, the original Metal Gear Solid. Sorry, the first one for the PlayStation 1. There was one before that. And that started off the game in love of one Kojima, but also like just stealth and espionage.
Playing Metal Gear for the first time, the sneaking about.
Yeah.
Being like, games can do this. Like, I can be sneaky, I can do this, and it was good, and it worked well.
And it wasn't just, that guy's over there, you've got the choice of either walking around him or shooting him. It was like, okay, that guy's over there, if you're here, you could knock on a wall, and he'll come and look what the noise is, and then you can run around him. Yeah. That, as a small child...
Incredible.
Insane.
Yeah.
But that's still not the best generation. So, from there was then the big purchase of Christmas and birthday of a PlayStation 2.
Original or slim?
Original.
Oh.
The absolute monolith that was the PlayStation 2. That's
Hot boy.
A very hot boy.
Big transformer plug as well.
Huge.
Chunky boy.
That could be used as a paperweight for like, yeah, it was...
So, again, the plug, a hot boy.
Yeah, that needed to have like a lot of airflow.
In the early 2000s, there was just console fires and chip pan fires
100%.
scourging Britain.
I remember in winters, like I would reconvene my bedroom so I could sit with my feet on my transformer.
We were
so
so naive. We had no idea of airflow. A fan. Yeah, a fan will do it.
The fan will
that'll be
probably
fine.
do it, but my feet...
Dust will get in there. Nah, that's what the fan's for. Get the dust straight out of there.
Yeah, how that survived, I'm not sure. But PlayStation 2, that was the definite tipping point of being like, oh my god, games are insane. And also, the market was just like, oh, kids will buy games, we'll make thousands of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you would... My routine of like, my friend Jordan would be up and he would visit his grandparents. And on a weekend, he would stop at mine. And I had like a terribly old computer that would run only Age of Empires and Stronghold Crusader. 2 fantastic games.
Can I bring up a small point about games that I've loved ever since understanding economics as a child, well, as a teenager, just gently, just that little bit of how the Americans decided that games will cost $60. So we went, 60? I like that. £60. Guess what, fuckhead? $60 doesn't equal £60.
No.
Games are expensive here for some reason. Why? Fuck. What do we do?
Remember when a brand new game would be like £25? You'd be like, ooh, spenny.
Spenny?
Wait for that to come down in price.
Oh my god.
I still live by that now, and I don't play new games.
No, it's rare. As a teenager, it was definitely get. I have to have the new one straight away. And I'm like, oh, the new one's coming out. I'll play it sometime.
One day.
Now and again, there's a new game comes out. I'm like, day one.
Okay.
I need to. The last one was probably Gears 5, and what a disappointment that was. Oh my god.
I didn't even touch Gears 5.
It was open world. It had open world segments.
Why?
What?
That's not what Gears is.
No. Remember Gears 2?
Little bit.
Chainsaw through a fucking worm.
You could do that now.
This one, you parasailed across a desert for long stints of time between objectives. There's side objectives and little structures to visit along the way.
Quests
to get skins and
this
things.
This isn't what Gears is. So I'm going to paint you a picture.
Okay.
It's Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend Jordan's just come over. He's visiting his grandparents. He's done the thing of like, hello, I'm off to David's. Fantastic.
Okay.
We've completed every game that we have at least once.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday morning, we've got £5 between us. We'll go to Granger Games.
Oh.
You go in you remember the big bins of games?
Yeah.
And £5 would get you 2 games. Remember this? You'd do that, and you'd come out with
which console
fewer
is this for?
gems. This is PlayStation 2.
Okay, so we're looking at
just thousands of games.
Oh, what games are we
There was
looking
like
at?
loads of
Crash.
Tekkens. There was Burnout Paradise. There was a load of... There was like Grand Theft Autos as well.
I imagine thousands of WWEs.
Yeah, Smashdown, Here Comes the Pain was a personal favourite. Then there was Smashdown versus Raw, also
Yes,
excellent.
Incredible.
Both of them were like bought for like £5 second hand in one of the bins. But
Many FIFAs.
One game that I've looked for again, and it's probably on CD keys, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix. Did you ever play that?
I have no idea what that is. That was just words.
That's a playthrough we have to do, because that's quite possibly the best racing game I ever played as a child.
Right.
And I'm a pretty big like Forza fan, but that was
Forza,
like,
yeah.
Anyway,
I'm a fan of
PlayStation
Dirt.
2. Yeah.
Dirt's real good.
The newest Dirt, I think it's Dirt 5, maybe.
Yeah. The last one I played was 2. So it's, shows.
Yeah, you're going on BBC 2 soon.
Oh no, I'm old.
Those guys that I watch on the interwebs, on the YouTubes, and also a podcast called Past Gas, Donut Media, they're in it.
All right.
They got a job doing like commentary on it, and they were really excited.
Incredible.
That's the end of the story.
No, I like that stuff,
But
though.
it's good to see when it's like, oh, I like those guys. They're really nice. Oh, they got something cool. Nice, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, PlayStation 2 was definitely the one for me because that was the beginning of, games are really cool. And then it had, bringing it back to Metal Gear Solid, 2, Sons of Liberty, because the one after that was Guns of the Patriots. And that was only on PlayStation 3 and didn't have PlayStation 3. Because then it was Phantom Pain after that.
Yeah, so that's the one where everyone thought that was the ending.
Yeah.
Because Snake and Liquid have that fight where they just keep on shooting up.
Christ, yeah. Yeah, that was a... The thing is, though, that is the most sort of tropey thing. Like, if you think any characters died, you're going to need to see the body. Otherwise, the next one will be like, no, it was a hologram. Or like...
No, it's another clone.
What was the point?
Snake, you have another brother.
What was the point in Phantom Pain when... Sorry, spoilers for a game that came out years ago. But at the end of Phantom Pain where it's just like, oh, that wasn't you. You weren't Snake. What was the point?
It was basically, it's all a dream.
Snake was off doing espionage stuff in probably a game that we're never going to play that's better.
Because he got fired?
He got fired.
And then what was the...
It was Death Stranding, but there was also
that
Metal Gear Solid Survive,
yes.
which was...
The big stinky one.
Awful.
I never played it. Like
Nope.
I'm just looking, seeing it from the outside, and there's nothing about that game that makes me want to play it apart from it sometimes looks pretty.
Yes, I reckon the story's interesting, but it's never on sale.
Because it looks fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of him just skipping down the beach with his dead wife? Question mark.
I
don't know why. Like, I wanted PT.
We all wanted PT.
We all wanted PT. I wouldn't have bought PT. I would have watched a YouTuber play PT.
You would have watched me play PT.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it would have been brilliant. That's what I wanted. And I want Norman Reedus just doing things and that. But I don't like Norman Reedus that much. He was okay in The Walking Dead, but the only reason that people liked him is because there was a bunch of edgy boys like moi, the guy with the crossbow in The Walking Dead. That's a good weapon.
That's a cool
for
guy.
Zombies.
I've done my research on zombies. I know a crossbow is the apex predator of weapons.
Yeah, obviously. A long-range weapon that you can
silent.
reuse the ammunition.
Genius.
Yes, incredible. I'm also going to use a sleeveless leather jacket for full protection. That was a weird one.
I remember that really took off The Walking Dead. I remember watching the first season being like, oh, this is probably going to be pretty good. And then watching...
Then the second season happened and they sat on a farm for a full season. It was shit.
I remember in second year coming down and watching a little bit with my housemates. And it was like season 3 or something. Mm-hmm. And it was this long drawn out conversation. And I remember being like, this is still the zombie program, right?
Why are they doing about internal politics in a prison? Who cares if Carl wants to name the pig that they're going to eat?
This podcast's going to have so many spoilers. What else can we spoil for the people who are listening?
We're not spoiling courage shit. Walking Dead season 2. Sophie, is it Sophie? Sophie gets turned into a zombie and she's in the barn. Oopsie daisy, the season's ruined. By the way, T-Dog died and it's the worst thing that happened at the show. T-Dog! No!
By the way, in Bioshock, you're being led the entire way. Spoilers.
Oh my god. Spoilers, Bioshock 3 is not very good. Everyone thinks it is, but it's okay at best.
It's not even okay. That was a slog to get through.
Yeah, the first part of the game is really good.
It's
then
lovely.
Then all of a sudden it gets real shit.
Yeah.
I'm doing what now?
It was the fact that like it obviously every Bioshock game has that sort of like Rolodex of pick an ideology, pick a location, pick a government style, and they had a good one. And it was interesting. And like they started off and I was like, okay, this could be fun. We're in the skies. There's like an infrastructure here built up. And then it just was crap.
There's a reason that people like the DLC so much. It's because you're back in Rapture. Like the first one was dark.
It was
very gritty and there was you didn't know what was coming around the corner. And at times genuinely quite spooky.
Yeah.
For early 360.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2
happened,
and then 3. It was in the clouds, and it was nice and sunny, and there was the only like big intimidating thing was those George Washington machine gunners, but that's because they were just a bullet sponge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that much ammo.
Yeah.
Just because it's got a plot twist doesn't mean it's good.
Whoa. Hang on.
Wait a minute.
Hang on.
Wait a minute. Am I trying to say that lazy writing is usually forgiven when there's a plot twist?
Oh. This is happening more often and it's really sad. Have you seen The Good Place?
No, but I've been told to watch it quite a lot.
It's alright. The first 8 episodes, trash. Like, it's American writing at its worst.
8
and
episodes isn't a good sign.
Yeah.
Like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
The first episode is watching it.
Yeah.
Knowing what's about to come, you're like, okay, this is okay.
I can take it.
But by itself, I can say it's definitely the pilot.
100%.
8 episodes.
Around about 8 episodes, and then it gets interesting. And then, okay, so The Good Place has a few twists, and the first one you don't see coming, but it doesn't make it good. And that's the basis of the rest of the program, right?
So for this show that I don't really care about watching and is quite old, what is this twist? Because all I know is that she is from the trailer. She was meant to go to hell, but went to heaven instead, and is trying to get out of it, but then realizes she wants to stay.
That's season 1. That's basically season 1. So season 1
that was in the trailer.
That you've basically picked up on all of the main points of the program.
Okay, so incredible writing.
So it's not good writing. But anyway, she's in the good place, which is referred to as that, and it's basically supposed to be heaven. And
we will get back to consoles.
We're here for the hard-hitting, me recalling a TV show from memory.
This is exactly what people want. 2 white guys in their 20s.
Some guy at home
talking about TV shows and movies. This is what we've set out for. It's what you'll get. Incredible.
So someone at home is watching their watch being like, they're talking about consoles. When are they going to get onto the hard-hitting stuff about The Good Place?
We were promised talk about the Taliban in Afghanistan. How have we gotten so far? We've talked about Graham Norton and everything.
Anyway, The Good Place. So it's like she's in The Good Place and she's not supposed to be there. And her thing for the first few episodes is her like trying to fit in and then finding out other people are like not the same as well. They're not supposed to be there as well, and them trying to figure it out. And then it must be episode 8 or possibly earlier. They realise, oh, this isn't the good place. This is the bad place. And it's set out to be a torture thing of trying to, instead of being like traditional means of torture, it's having to do with an awkward situation for the rest of eternity of not being in a situation that you should be in.
Oh my god, that's so quirky.
Okay as an idea.
People haven't done hell right. Do hell right. The Good Place, from what I've heard. Supernatural, from when I used to watch that. Few properties, just representations of hell. Yeah. Do it right. Fire, brimstone, torture, hooks. I want the full shebang. Give me hell. Otherwise, it's not hell. It's just a place underground with fire that's red. That's true. I don't. It's not hell.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
But it's just like properties always get hell wrong for me. Yeah. Heaven is easy. It's clouds and it's the golden archway and the stairs and the big man with the beard.
It's Schler.
Heaven's easy because, as I say, it's the clouds and the blue sky.
Yeah.
But hell always seems to be just the red cave.
Yeah.
With the fire in the background and the bit of just screaming off in the distance.
Black rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hell. You know? If it's just red and has some fire kicking about, it's not that bad.
That's true, yes. If it's the epitome of the worst place you could ever be, and it's because you've been an awful person, it would probably be worse than just red with a bit of flames.
Exactly. in Futurama.
No, in Futurama, with
In
the robot
Futurama,
devil.
With the robot devil.
Cigars are evil, you won't need them.
In Supernatural.
No, I need more lines from that one.
In Supernatural, when Dean goes to hell, there's a little bit of a zoom. He's got hooks in him with some chains and he's just dangling there.
Okay.
That's the only thing you see of hell.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing he's back because it's supernatural and people don't die in that. But that was like, ooh, a little taste of hell. That was good. And then never again.
I suppose it's a very tricky thing to get away with because for it to be proper, it would, one, have to be an 18 rated scene.
Yeah.
And the amount of...
Don't worry, I understand that. It's a big ask.
To be fair, the sheer amount of horror films that are out, that often, like, a big majority of them now, especially in the last, 5 years, have been like, here is The Nun.
Also, why is it always the ghosts that come back and possess and haunt?
Why is it always the ghosts of humans?
Well,
You come in, this house is haunted. Moo. It's just like ectoplasm, but it's just a cow pat on you.
There'd just be millions. Can you imagine how many ghosts are in the sea? You'd be a spiritualist on a boat.
All of the, if you come home from a day of fishing and you've killed a fish, then suddenly your house is possessed by that fish.
You just wake up to the sound of slapping, and it's the fish that you've killed earlier, and they're just just bouncing around the bed. He won't leave me alone.
Anyway, we're way off.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about the best console generation. I would say I 100% know what you mean by the Xbox 360 time, because that had that was Call of Duty was really hitting its mark. That was Halo hitting its mark. That was quite a few racing games hitting the mark as well.
We've talked for an hour and a half.
You've probably heard 3 minutes of content.
It's all been terrible. We've asked to cut all of it out.
So we've set out the basis of what we want this podcast to be. We have 3 bullet points, and we go tangentially to Iron Man 3 with each one.
Yeah, let's be real. The main focus and end product of this podcast is, and always will be, Iron Man 3.
All roads lead to Rome. All bullet points lead to Iron Man 3.
And we promise to watch it one day so we can talk more and not just go, oh yeah, that guy from that movie.
Him, what's his name?
Best we
couldn't tell you.
Got to look it up. Can't remember. I can't believe I said this could be about media. This could be about because it would be like, oh, they sang this song. On what album? Google that, please. Could you Google that? Could you Google that? Could you Google that?
That's probably what we should call this.
Terrible. Could you Google that?
Could you Google that, please?
No, because again, another.
Would you kindly?
In Bioshock. Full circle, baby.
We talk about terrible third installments of TV shows, films, and games. Excellent. Okay.
Thirds, and thirds.
Thirds, and thirds.
Thank you very much for listening to our first episode. We really do appreciate it. I mean,
whoever's left.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for making it all the way at the end.
Probably just Beth in editing this. We should leave an Easter egg for that.
We appreciate Beth. This could be the thing we do.
Oh yeah.
What notes have you made?
Yeah.
During the podcast. No, but listen.
It's teasers.
And then what out of these things would we like to talk about next time? This could be what could be left in the comments and therefore help the algorithm. Remember David wrote these down, not me.
Yeah.
So go on, David.
Weird.
You've been writing minutes.
We've got some minutes. I've got some things. We can talk about what hasn't aged well from our childhood. We're talking about films and TV shows, video games. I've entitled it "That Hasn't Aged Well."
A segment, yes.
A segment, and I thought while we're talking about that, we'd have to be drinking old wine.
Sophisticated.
Hence, hasn't aged well.
I love it.
Second one here I've got is IPs that went bad, featuring microtransactions. We're talking about similar thing, but IPs are more like the full intellectual property. So like
Halo,
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I like it.
Call of Duty to a point.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
I'm going to be that guy, but Ghostbusters.
Ghostbuster. Yeah, the recent one wasn't good.
I can't
That's
say-
not controversial. A lot of people hate it.
Yeah, but I'm the straight white guy saying that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I understand. But you get the idea. Cars going weird, I've got written down here.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. I wanted to talk about that.
This is the thing. We're a fan of vehicles, vehicular transport,
Yeah.
and engineer. We're both engineers at heart.
We're both car nerds.
So at some point we'll talk about that and how they're going weird and things that are still good about them. Cannot wait for the new Nissan 400Z. Very excited about that. Under there, I've got in big, bold writing that's capitalised Iron Man 3.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk much about Iron Man 3 this episode, but it was something that we both felt very passionately about.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, so maybe next time.
Leave that. 5-minute crafts.
Oh, yes.
Talk about 5-minute crafts.
Talk about or do and record as content.
Oh, yeah. Okay, interesting. I'll put something next to that for because obviously that's very difficult for visuals.
Mm-hmm.
There's some D&B and B&M.
BNBNs.
BNBNs. Oh, what BNBNs were amazing.
Yeah.
Remember that? Should we talk about BNBNs for a little while?
Let's keep this podcast going.
Right down BNB. Tabletop role playing stuff.
Yeah, we could do Warhammer. We could do
That's true.
D&D.
Yeah. I would quite like to do a D&D thing where we get one person who's never played D&D before. Science bits, but funny.
Science bits, but funny.
Science theories, but
Mhm.
funny.
Oh, is that basically just conspiracies?
Yeah, and theories that have fallen flat and that were believed. So the tortoise is all the way up,
All the way down.
all the way down.
Yeah.
Bit of Discworld. A similar one to that that's news but funny.
Mm-hmm. I'm up for articles.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm up for reviewing articles or clickbait.
Clickbait should be its own thing, definitely.
But we'll just get a couple of clickbait articles, stories, whatever, and just
100%.
go through them, live through them.
Another thing that's linked to that as well, weekly recaps of what's funny in the news or in our lives.
Mock the Week, yes.
You've heard of Mock the Week?
Never.
It's like...
Is it like Russell Howard's Good News?
No.
I've only ever seen it on Facebook.
Oh, man. They have some good comedy on there, actually.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You ever seen a Minion?
No.
From the movie Minion.
From the movie Minions?
Mm-hmm.
No. Is it like Despicable Me?
No.
Then I'm not sure. You've heard of...
What's this bit, David? What's this bit?
You've heard of Yes and. This is the exact reverse. You try your hardest to improv with someone who's having none of it. No, I haven't heard it. Okay. Next on the list, glow-ups. I was thinking stuff like comedians that were around when we were young, like Bo Burnham, who's been through the Vine stuff and then went through some strange phases and now
I
is
can't believe
in
you just said
Inside.
Bo Burnham just went through the Vine stuff.
He was in Vine.
He did 6 Vines.
Yeah, but
one of them he was just spinning in a bath.
They're all classics. Stuff like that. Bo Burnham's a question mark next to it. Also, stuff found on Marketplace. Video game peripherals. Remember the...
I understood some of those words.
There was only 2 of them.
Yeah, so some. I didn't stutter it.
Video game peripherals is do you remember the Wii? Obviously, yes, but
the Wii,
the thing that you hold as peripheral. You had game pads and then you had other things that added on. So
Oh, you mean accessories?
Yes.
Is it accessories
Because
then?
they're actually peripherals.
Can you believe this story?
How?
I believe I also bumped the mic.
How very dare you?
That was a cracking. Can you believe this is the wrap up?
The wrap-up's lasted 20 minutes.
I know. But it's more content.
Had 3 rounds of improv.
Consume Goodevening Boys content.
Buy the merch.
Bethan Design merch.
It's just a t-shirt with Good
No,
Evening
but I
Boys.
don't want t-shirts. I want a U-bend for a sink.
Good U-bend, boys.
A 10 mil.
Terrible inventions. which is very linked to what we were saying about
Ooh.
Wish, where it's like
I have a lot to say about Dyson.
I don't know where to go with that.
You don't have to overcomplicate a Hoover. Just make a fucking Hoover. I understand Hoover is also the brand.
What have you got to get? Oh yeah, true.
Dyson. It's just if you're going to make a portable vacuum,
Got it. Mm-hmm.
give it a good battery.
Yes.
Also, we don't need this crazy ball
tech.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there'll be plenty of time to go on a tirade.
Yeah, that's fine. I've got many.
Last one on here was just talking about video games, specifically about Call of Duty, because that has a lot of meat on its bones of stuff to talk about, good and bad. But yeah, that's a list of a few things. There's obviously going to be a few more, and anyone who has a good idea. I mean, we
have ideas.
We have medium good, medium rare. Oh, and music stuff.
And music stuff.
There's music stuff. There's not a lot of music stuff. That'll be definitely some tangential stuff. But yes, that has been our podcast.
Goodbye. Good evening, boys.
Good evening, boys.